Justin Paperny with Federal Prison Advice. I'm really excited to be with you today, and we're going to talk budgets and what it can cost to live inside a federal prison. Now, some of my viewers might know I was once a stockbroker who built my career at Bear Stearns and UBS. I share this because despite having a career as a money manager, I did a pretty poor job of managing my budgets from prison. So I hope this video opens your eyes to what it can cost to live in prison so you and your family can better prepare. Now, prior to my surrender to TAFT Federal Prison Camp, I just didn't understand all the ways that I could spend money and how quickly it seemed to go. Admittedly, I always felt like I was playing catch up. Look, even as I reached the end of my term at TAFT Federal Prison Camp, I was still challenged to manage my commissary and phone minutes properly. Now, for some background, each prisoner in the federal system receives an allotment of 300 telephone minutes each month, or every single month. So that averages out to fewer than 10 minutes per day on a 31-day month, not a lot of minutes. In addition to not managing my budgets very well, I did a pretty poor job of my telephone allowance. Despite having goals of how often I would call home and how frequently, issues at home required that I some days go beyond the 10 minutes a day. As a consequence of using too many phone minutes earlier in the month, it wasn't uncommon for me to reach the end of the month without having very many minutes left. That meant I couldn't call my friends or my family, and it was just part of it. I always could have done a better job. There is some relief in November and December when we get 400 phone minutes. Now, besides the 300-minute phone limit we had to deal with, at TAFT camp, it was a 20-point visitation schedule. Now, some prisons have different policies and rules on visitation. TAFT was a point schedule. Well, what does that mean? That meant Friday at TAFT camp cost 4 points, Saturdays cost 8 points, and Sundays cost 6 points. That means if you were visiting on Fridays, you could visit every Friday throughout the month. Break down the points, you'll get an idea of how often you could visit. It was easier for me to visit on Fridays because I didn't have children who were in school, so people could come and see me on that Friday and take the day off of work. Now, another limit that I always had to contend with, that you'll have to contend with, is what it costs to live in the commissary. When I was in prison, it was $290 a month. Now it's $320, and that includes everything: aspirin, medicine, toiletries. It does not include stamps, email, and credit for phone use. Look, nowadays, if you're going to live in prison, you have got to budget for email, which can easily on that core link system be several $100s a month. Prison's expensive. Prisoners who expect to journey through the prison system have to be aware of these limits and how it can impact your journey. If you go into these months without planning or expecting that it's going to cost this and it costs that, it can be disappointing when you have no phone minutes to call home, or when you run out of commissary 2 weeks into the month and you're eating that food in the chow hall that third week that you have to eat because you have no spending limit left. So let me close with some expenses and give you a little bit of a breakdown of what it can cost to live in prison. This is my whiteboard for those of my friends of mine who lean on the right. It's like what Karl Rove would use. Prison budget, commissary, $320 a month. Stamps, $25 to $100 a month. You could buy 3 books of stamps a week. Do not keep more than 3 books of stamps in your locker at any time. Phone, figure at least $50 a month if you're going to use all of your 300 phone minutes. Email can be anywhere from $10 to $500 a month. Depends on how often you're writing, how often you're reaching out to your network. I have clients that are easily spending north of $500 a month. And services. Look, I'm not going to get into services in this video and paying for services. I just encourage you, before you ever pay for services, to totally understand the warped nature of confinement. Before you seek to exploit this system or wherever you're serving your time, watch, understand it before you engage in the hustle. For those that choose to and really want to live like a king, it can be anywhere from $10 to $500 a month and everything in between. So it's very easy to see how living in prison can range from $400 at a minimum to $1,000 plus. This is a range. Excuse me, there's actually one thing I have forgotten to include on the cost of living. Hold on. Okay. Figure your prison job actually is going to pay you $15 a month. So take your $1,000, less the $15 for working in the chow hall, and you get an idea of what it's going to cost to live in prison. I created this video so you could better prepare for the cost of prison than I did. Watch it, learn from it, review it with your family, implement it, and you'll have a wonderful start to your prison journey. Thank you again for watching.